New Year's readings are already available on my website. So if you're interested to get your personal tarot reading for the year 2024, then check out the description for the information below. And this reading is going to be a general reading for all of us to see what new energies we're going to be dealing with as we are transitioning into the new year. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to my channel, leave comments, like this video, engage with the content. I love to hear from you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's see what we are going to be dealing with. First and foremost, I'm going to draw one card to represent the energies that we are phasing out. So these are the energies that we are leaving behind in 2023. These are the energies that we are getting rid of. Now, next we have the transitional energy. This is the energy of now. And finally, the energy of the new year is coming up next. Okay. So, let's have a look. The energy that we are leaving behind is number 20 of the Major Arcana, Judgment. Next, the transitional energy is number 3, the Empress. And then the new energies that are coming in are represented by the Fool. Okay. So what do we have here? Actually, probably the most interesting thing to observe here is that we are going through a process of simplification. So we're starting with a really high number, 20, and then there's a drop to 3, and finally we're settling on 0. So there's a movement from the more intricate, more sophisticated, more kind of high order Major Arcana energies towards converging to a new starting point. So what is the energy that we are leaving behind, that we are no longer carrying with us into the new year? And Judgment represents the facing and the confrontation with past mistakes. It's a process of reckoning, of evaluating everything that we've been through, and especially facing our fears, facing sins and mistakes and traumas. So all kinds of things that originate from external events and our own behavior, but that which have an imprinting effect on our being, on our behavior. So when we see Judgment, it's always about bringing unconscious patterns to the surface and facing those patterns, no matter how difficult, how painful, how inconvenient that process might be. This is about the importance of finding a redemption arc for ourselves. So, other themes that are connected to this card and to this energy are forgiveness, whether that's forgiveness of ourselves or other people. It's finding a way to allow ourselves and other people to have second chances. But before that can happen, we have to do this really honest and brutal work of facing ourselves. So this kind of serious and heavy energy is now being faded into the background. And this is also indicating that we are on a path of rejuvenation. So before we can step on the path of the Fool, we first need to process and integrate the lessons that Judgment is referring to. So this is accountability, first and foremost, that Judgment speaks about. And an honest effort to reflect on our flaws and to find a way to rectify them. Now, this more serious energy is now being faded into the background, and the transitional energy is represented by the Empress. So here we have the importance of love and acceptance. So once we've gone through that process of honest and real, deliberate action towards exploring the mistakes and the negative patterns within ourselves, once that process has been completed, once we've gone through this internal investigation, the conflict that we had with ourselves is now dissolving, and the beautiful, nurturing, and accepting energy of the Empress is emerging here. So the Empress's main purpose is to find a way to facilitate growth wherever she is. So while Judgment's prerogative is to understand the map to the unconscious and to encounter contents of your mind, of your consciousness that you might have been suppressing, the Empress is making an effort to approve of everything that has come to the surface and to find a way to gently and softly direct you towards self-love again. So Judgment can be a little bit of a rocky ride. It can bring with it feelings of inadequacy, feelings of despair and shame. And so the Empress is here to take the edge off of that process. So we are now in this, we're just now finding a connection with this archetypally maternal energy, finding a way to love ourselves again, truly, and to afford that same love to those around us. So the new energy that 2024 is bringing in is the energy of the Fool. So it's as though there has been a confession of sorts. There's a validation now, an emotional validation. And once we've gone through this process, we can embark on a new journey and start over with a completely new mindset. So the Fool represents emptiness, emptiness in its most divine and spiritually pure sense. It signals to you, to us, that it's time to discard our preconceived notions about who we are and what we're capable of. So judgment had its role in uncovering and understanding the past. The Empress plays a part in integrating that knowledge, and the Fool represents the freedom that follows these types of revelations. The Fool stands for the ability to change truly, almost on a cellular level, to change deeply, to change not just cognitively, not just intellectually, but with the entirety of your being, changing wholeheartedly. And one important aspect of this change is the recognition that there's many things that you don't know and you will never know about yourself and about life. And so trying to calculate your steps, trying to strategize is ultimately meaningless, and life is here to be lived. So although you can make an effort and you can attempt to try and design your steps way out in advance, it's likely not the decisive factor that is going to determine how successful your path is going to be. It comes down to trust. Trust in the universe. Trust in the process. Your ability to throw yourself into situations that are unfamiliar and intimidating with the strong basis of self-love and your love for the universe and the hope that things are going to work out. So the Fool is kind of inviting you to discover this courage within you that is not based on evidence, that is not based on your belief about your abilities, but instead it's based on this sort of blind faith that things are going to work out. So it's an interesting thing because, of course, as rational human beings, we want a solid game plan. We want to see how we can optimize our our behavior and our strategy for the future. But the Fool is saying, in a very radical way, to de-strategize, to forget that there are things that you know about yourself. The more you can free yourself, the more you can liberate yourself from the shackles of knowing your own identity and where your limitations are, the more successful you're going to be. So this is kind of an interesting contradiction. Children, which, the Fool can be very easily equated with the experience of children who come into this world seemingly like a blank slate, and not knowing much about how things work, and also not knowing much about their own limitations or their own lack of skills. And so children are capable of incredible things because they don't have those internal inhibitions, those checks and balances that we as adults have adopted. So they don't know that something is impossible, and they will, as a result of that not knowing, do it anyway. So the Fool is trying to invite you on a similar path to surprise yourself. The unpredictable and the unfamiliar is where you can truly grow. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this reading. Let me know what you think. And again, if you would like to have a personal New Year's reading done for you, check out my website. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. See you next week.